Good afternoon. Today we've got another picture book and it's called Orion and the Dark. I hope you're excited, ready for this adventure today. Orion and the Dark, and it's written by Emma Yarlett. My name is Orion, and I guess you could say I am scared of a lot of things. Mum tells me I just have a big imagination and there's nothing to be frightened of. Well, that's easy for her to say. As far as I can see, the world is full of frightening things. But there is one thing that scares me more than anything else. So some of the things that are on this page, just in case you can't see, are wasps, bicycles, the sea, girls, dogs, especially big ones, popping balloons, storms, space, spiders, tartan, which is this pattern here, gran, monsters, heights, wardrobes. Let's find out the thing that he is most scared of, shall we? The dark. Of course, I've tried all kinds of things to solve the problem. I've hidden from the dark places where the monsters live. I've avoided the dark. And I've made night vision oodles better. What other things has he done? He wants to invent the everlasting light bulb so it's always lit up. Dressing up as an owl. Everyone knows that owls can see in the dark. Painting my room with neon print. Staging a protest. No dark allowed here. Night vision goggles. He's trying to sell them for £300. Capturing the sun and taking it away. But it was a bit too hot and quite sweaty. Keeping pet glowworms. All of these things have got a cross next to them. So he's tried them. Clearly, they didn't work. But nothing ever works. And before I know it, it's bedtime again. Good night, Orion. Good night, Mum. I hate bedtime. The night that changed everything began like any other. I kept an eye out for monsters. I kept an ear out for scary noises. But as it got darker and darker and darker, I couldn't take it anymore. I've had enough of you, Dark. I wish you and your scary sounds, your murky monsters and your pitch blackness would just go away. And that's when something strange happened. Outside my window, the dark seemed to come alive. Gibbering jellyfishes! And a thing I'd never seen before. Dropped in for a visit. Here it is. What on earth is that? I was feeling more scared than ever before. Even more than when I went to that seaside dog show with Gran. But Mum always says it is important to remember your manners, especially when you are greeting visitors. So I said, "Hello, I'm Orion," and offered to shake hands. Ooh. Here is the thing's hand. It's got a very big hand, but if you can see, it is actually shaking his hand back. Hello there, I'm Dark. Now, Orion, it's time for you to stop being so afraid of everything, especially me. Let's go on an adventure. Of course, normally I'd be scared stiff of going on an adventure, especially with a terrifying creature like Dark. Except this Dark wasn't quite what I had expected. First, he asked to see the shadowy and scary bits of the house, the nooks and crannies where the monsters live. One in the wardrobe, 2 under the bed, 3 down the plug hole, and 4 in the basement. Wondered why he wants to go and see all of those things. And you won't believe this, but some of the darkest places turned out to be the most fun. What does it say it here? It says, look at my rabbit shadow, and you can see them making little shadows in the dark. Even having fun couldn't stop me from being scared for long though. Whistle, tap, 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 creak, hiss, zoom, bang, squeak, 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 mumble, clang, wow, twit, twoo, twit, twoo. Dark? What are those horrible, creepy and scary sounds coming from outside? Together, bravely went outside to find the frightening sounds. And when we found them, they weren't frightening at all. The snoring was coming from a house. The whistling was coming from a chimney. The crying was coming from a baby. The murmuring was just a TV. The humming was a fridge. The ticking was a clock. And the squeaking were some mice. The rustling were the leaves on the trees. The mumbling was somebody talking in their sleep. The creaking was the trees. The clanking was a gate. The whirring was an aeroplane. The hissing and the growling was a dog and a cat. The banging was a bin falling over. The twit-twoos were some owls, and the tapping was the tree on the house. Ha! That's no monster. Crikey! That's just Dad, silly. The night time is much more interesting than the daytime, actually. Dark asked me if I had stopped feeling afraid. The horrible wiggly feeling had definitely gone a bit. But there was still one place that made my knees wobble and my tummy twist with fright. The awful place where the dark is darkest of all. And so off we went. One last adventure, all the way up into the night sky. There, in the darkest place of all, suddenly I knew, when I stopped worrying about being scared, dark could be fun, and dark could be interesting, and dark could be magical, and most of all, dark could be my friend. And nobody, not even me, is scared of their best friend. Orion, that's a good name. I like it. Ooh, darling, I love it. But too soon, we had to go home. As the sun began to climb back up into the sky, my friend began to fade. It was time to say goodbye. Dark, I've had such a super duper, spiffadocious, incredimundo adventure. But will you ever come back? He gives him a really big hug. I didn't want Dark to go, and so he promised, I'll never be far away, because we know that dark comes every time. What a lovely book about how to overcome your fear of the dark.